Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Bhajajanavajana Yashodanandana Bhajajanavajana Yamuna Tira Vanakari Yamuna Tira Vanakari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Bhajajanavajana Yashodanandana Bhajajanavajana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Bhajajanavajana Yashodanandana Bhajajanavajana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. ISKCON BBT Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnu Paramahamsa Prabhakacharya Sutta Santa Shishamad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda Ki Jai, Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai, Prem Sikaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai, Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Givi Govardhan Ki Jai, Shri Mayapur Dham Ki Jai, Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai, Ganga Mai Ki Jai, Yamuna Mai Ki Jai, Tulsi Devi Ki Jai, Bhakti Devi Ki Jai, Shri Hari Nam Sankirtan Ki Jai, Samaveta Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai, Guru Premanande Hari Hari Bol. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the lotus feet of Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga. So welcome everybody to the Bhagavad Gita class. We're in chapter 10. It's entitled The Opulences of the Absolute, which is, the chapter is also called Vibhuti Yoga. So we're doing text 38. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Okay, so we'll start with the Sanskrit. Daṇḍo damayatām asmi. Nītir asmi jigīṣatām. Maunam caivāsmi guhyānām. jñānavatām aham. Daṇḍo damayatām asmi. nītir asmi jigīṣatām. maunam caivāsmi guhyānām. jñānavatām aham. Daṇḍo damayatām asmi. nītir asmi jigīṣatām. maunam caivāsmi guhyānām jñānavatām aham. Devotees. asmi jigīṣatām
maunaṁ caivāsmi guhyānāṁ jñānaṁ jñānavatām aham daṇḍo damayatām
asmi
nītir
jigīṣatām
maunam
jñānavatām aham. daṇḍaḥ asmi nītir jigīṣatām maunam caivāsmi guhyānām jñānavatām aham. Vaisnavis. jigīṣatām
maunam caivāsmi guhyānāṁ jñānavatām aham daṇḍo damayatām asmi
jigīṣatām
maunam caivāsmi guhyānāṁ jñānavatām daṇḍo damayatām asmi nītir jigīṣatām maunam caivāsmi guhyānāṁ jñānavatām aham.
So we'll do the word for word. daṇḍaḥ,
daṇḍaḥ,
punishment.
punishment.
damayatām,
damayatām,
of all means of suppression.
all means of suppression.
asmi,
Asmi,
I am. nītiḥ,
nītir,
morality.
morality.
asmi,
Asmi,
I am.
I am.
jigīṣatām,
Jigīṣatām,
of those who seek victory.
of those who seek victory.
maunam,
Maunam,
silence.
silence.
Cha,
Cha,
and.
and
eva,
Eva,
also.
also.
asmi,
Asmi,
I am.
I am.
guhyānāṁ,
Guhyānāṁ,
of secrets.
of secrets.
jñānam,
Jñānam,
knowledge.
knowledge.
jñānavatām,
Jñānavatām,
of the wise.
of the wise.
aham,
Aham,
I am.
I am.
Among all means of suppressing lawlessness, I am punishment. And of those who seek victory, I am morality. Of secret things, I am silence. And of the wise, I am the wisdom. So repeat, among all means
Among all means
of suppressing lawlessness,
of suppressing lawlessness,
I am punishment.
I am punishment.
And of those who seek victory,
And of those who seek victory,
I am morality.
I am morality.
Of secret things,
Secret things,
I am silence.
I am silent.
And of the wise,
And of the wise,
I am the wisdom.
I am the wisdom.
Translation of Purports by His Very Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Purport. There are many suppressing agents, of which the most important are those that cut down miscreants. When miscreants are punished, the agency of chastisement represents Kṛṣṇa. Among those who are trying to be victorious in some field of activity, the most victorious element is morality. Among the confidential activities of hearing, thinking, meditating, silence is most important, because by silence one can make progress very quickly. The wise man is he who can discriminate between matter and spirit, between God's superior and inferior natures. Such knowledge is Kṛṣṇa Himself. Om Gina Timberanda Sha Gana Gana Salakaya Taksumali Tamyena Tasmai Shi Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobi Stam Stapi Tamyena Bhutale Swarupa Kadamayam Tadati Swa Padante Kam Vande Ham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Parakamalam Shri Gurun Vaisnavam Cha Shri Rupam Sagujatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Savadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sayitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Paran Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitam Sha E Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagapate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Govange Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sutta Devi Pranamami Hari Pre Vanta Kapya Sarubhya Cha Kripa Sindhubhya Eva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasari Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So what I would like to do is, first I'd like to say a little bit something about chapter 7, which is knowledge of the Absolute. So just to say a few things, in chapter 7, Krishna is asking Arjuna to hear about him. So in that chapter, the glories of knowledge about the Lord is what Krishna is talking to Arjuna about. So in that chapter, Gyan and Vigyan are specifically spoken about. Gyan, we know, is theoretical knowledge. And this theoretical knowledge talks about Krishna's energies. It indicates his energies. And then Vigyan, we know, is realized knowledge, or knowledge about Krishna's sweetness. And so near the conclusion of this discussion, I hope it becomes a discussion, near the end, I'll talk about this sweetness of the Lord. So Gyan is covered in chapters 7 and 8. And 7, as I said, is knowledge of the Absolute, and 8 is, anybody? Attaining the Supreme. And Vigyan is covered in chapter 9. And 9 is the most confidential knowledge. And then both of these, Gyan and Vigyan, is discussed in chapters 10 and 11. So we're coming near the end of the chapter. There's only 42 in this chapter, 42 verses. So before going on to chapter 10, in the end of chapter 9, the conclusion of chapter 9 in verse 34 is the essence. That verse is the essence, is what Krishna is imparting to Arjuna. And we all know this one. It's man, manabhava, mad bhakto, mad yaji, nam namiskaro. Y'all know this. Mami vashyasi yukta bhavam, atmanam mat paranaha. So what is it saying? Everybody knows. What does Krishna say?
Do namaskar to me, you know about me, bow down to me.
Yes, he's saying, always think of me. Become my devotee. Worship me and offer obeisances unto me. You will surely come to me, having absorbed yourself completely in me and taking my shelter. And I was also thinking of another verse which says, I'm not sure, it's in either knowledge of the Absolute or attaining the Supreme, but it's about knowing my transcendental activities. When you know my transcendental activities, oh, thank you. What chapter is that? 4. He says, you'll come back to me. Surely you'll come back to me, knowing my transcendental activities. So the verse I just spoke, the Man Baba Mad Bhakto, is this verse is the most important instruction of the Gita. And it's considered the essence of the Gita. And that verse is again repeated in what chapter? It's repeated in chapter 18. It's verse 65. He repeats it again. And actually, in all the chapters, especially near the end, Krishna talks about surrendering to him, worshiping him, getting to that point. So he always comes to the conclusion at the end of most of the chapters that you have to surrender to him. You have to worship him. You have to come to the stage of do bhakti yoga and come to the stage of love for Krishna. So I'm going to give a little review because it's near the end. 38 is near the end. So as we move into the chapter, it has 42 verses, so I'll give you just the overview. And it's good to review because I was reading today, and also the importance of discussion. Let me see if I can find what I wrote down. There's a certain amount that we absorb. So the studies have been done in secular circles about reading. We only retain 10%. Auto-visually, we only retain 20%. Demonstration, we only keep 30%. Discussion is 50%. So amongst the devotees, we know we have Prabhupada gave us a whole program. Every day, come to Manga Arati, in which we glorify the Guru. And then we do Guru Puja, and then we have class. So we hear every day, and it's important to hear every day. Then we can retain. And then it's saying if we practice what we're reading, we retain 75%. But if we teach others, then we retain 90%. So it means we have to also teach others and preach to others. We have to preach. We have to talk about it all the time. We have to think about Krishna every day. So that's why I wanted to review the chapters, because I think it's important. So in verses 1 through 7, the essence of those is that Krishna is the mysterious origin of everything. He is the origin of all qualities and all personalities. And when we accept his powers and recognize his powers, that should lead us to surrendering to him, knowing that he is the supreme person. He's the cause of all causes. So that's verses 1 through 7. In verses 8 through 11, these verses are called the Chatra Sloki. And the reason it's called the Chatra Sloki, that means that these verses are the summary, and they pull together the main heart of the teachings of Bhakti Yoga, or yoga of love in the relationship between Krishna and his devotees. So he's the source of all the material and spiritual worlds. And the verses 8 through 11 also include those who are wise worship him and are always absorbed in discussions about him. And he also gives intelligence to his devotees from within and destroys the ignorance. And whenever I'm asked to give class, the first thing I pray to Krishna is to give me the intelligence to actually share something with the devotees. and also asking for the blessings from the devotees that I be able to share something that's meaningful to them of this knowledge. That's the king, the Raja Vidya of knowledge. So also in verses 12 through 18, speaks about Krishna, the Supreme Absolute. His supremacy is confirmed by great authorities like Narada, Vyasa, and others. And actually, we can't know Krishna fully. No one knows Krishna except himself. But Arjuna, he wants to know. He's in this section, he's asking Krishna to please tell me more about your divine opulences. I want to know. I want to hear about them. I want to know how you pervade the world. How should I constantly think of you and know you and remember you? How is that possible? What are all the forms in which you manifest yourself? So he wants to keep hearing about Krishna. And he's not getting tired of hearing about Krishna. He just wants to keep hearing whatever Krishna, he wants to hear Krishna's words. He wants Krishna to keep telling him. So Krishna, we have our connections with Krishna as well. We have the Gita, which is spoken by Krishna. Krishna is present with us every day if we take advantage. He speaks the Gita, and then the Srimad Bhagavatam is all about him. And then we have the chanting, the japa. Prabhupada says that Krishna is present when we chant. He's dancing on our tongues. So he's present for us. He's present in the form of prasad, because the taste of prasad comes from Krishna. We're offering to him and he's accepting. It's saying in the Gita, he eats. So we have, everything has been given us. We have association. And we can take association of all the senior devotees, all the pure devotees, regular, everybody, all the devotees. I always think that here in Vrindavan, the devotees, one of my god sisters, when I went back to the U.S. last year, my god sister asked me, why are you staying in Vrindavan? Said she thinks it's very austere, because, in the U.S. everything's easy. You get whatever you need anytime. You have so many choices, too many choices, So she asked me, and I said, in Vrindavan, it's the devotees. All the devotees who are staying in Vrindavan are very amazing to be staying in Vrindavan. They're all special. Everyone in Vrindavan is special. So I was explaining to her, yes, it's austere. So many things happen. You don't get all the material things you think you want, or sometimes even when you need. But somehow you want to remain in Vrindavan. No. So I see so many amazing devotees doing so much service and totally dedicated to the service of the Lord. And so I'm hoping that it'll all rub off on me. So back to the chapter. So in verses 19 through 42, so in verse 19, Krishna says that my opulences are limitless. So he was going to tell Arjuna only about the prominent ones, about his splendorous manifestations, because Arjuna is representing the jiva soul, because we know that Arjuna is a pure devotee. But he's in this pastime to enlighten all the living entities, all the jiva souls, And he's been chosen because he's not He's not envious. He loves Krishna, and he's Krishna's very dear friend. So he was a perfect choice to hear again this Bhagavad Gita. So because of the limited senses of the jiva soul, means that we cannot understand the totality of Krishna's powers. There's no way. We have the 4 defects. So there's a lot about Krishna we cannot understand or cannot fathom. But still, there is a lot we can know about Krishna just by reading Srila Prabhupada's books and by chanting. And if we do it sincerely, we can advance in our spiritual knowledge and the knowledge about Krishna. And also later in this chapter also talks about how, or maybe it was in the previous chapter, how, and he can bring us to the standard of understanding him. Not fully, though, not fully. So then Krishna begins describing his opulences. In verse 20, Krishna addresses Arjuna as Gudakesh. So does anybody remember what Gudakesh meant? Why did he mention this? Anyone, please? We can have discussion. What is it? Mm-hmm. Yes, true. It's ignorance. It said that one who has conquered, he's called him because, yes, he's conquered darkness of sleep and ignorance. So Srila Prabhupada comments in this purport that for those who are sleeping in the darkness of ignorance, it's not possible to understand how the Supreme Personality of Godhead manifests himself in various ways in the material and spiritual worlds. And then Prabhupada further says that because Arjuna is above such darkness, the Personality of Godhead agrees to describe his various opulences. Beginning with verse 21, Lord Krishna begins to describe his vibhutis, or his opulences, to Arjuna, and that those descriptions end with verse 39. So then in verses 40 through 42, beginning with verse 40, Krishna says there's no end to my divine manifestations. So how can we actually comprehend? What are our 4 defects? The 4 defects that we have, that the living entity has, the jiva souls. Mm-hmm. Yes. 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 So we have all the defects. So how can we actually understand all of Krishna's manifestations and his energies? And then I thought this was most beautifully said, and it's said with love. He says in verse 42, Krishna tells Arjuna, but what need is there, Arjuna, for all these detailed knowledge? With a single fragment of myself, I pervade and support this entire universe. So when I was reading this, I was thinking about the gopis, how the gopis, they don't want to hear anything or understand anything about Krishna's opulences or his material energies or how he runs the world or the cosmic manifestation. All they know is that they love him. They love Krishna. When Mother Yashoda asked Krishna, his friends had told him, the cowherd boys had said, Krishna is eating mud. And they told Mother Yashoda, and Krishna was saying, no, I didn't eat mud. The boys are lying on me. I didn't eat mud. So Mother Yashoda tells him, okay, open your mouth, let me see. And what does she see? She sees the whole universe, everything, all the manifestations. She even sees herself looking in Krishna's mouth. And she became bewildered. But Krishna immediately put her back into Yoga Maya because he just wants her to treat him like her son. She just shook her head and just thought, okay, this is not what I'm seeing. This is my son, Krishna. And to her, he's always her son. And so I wanted to also speak about, let me finish this part first, because I was reading a commentary in the commentary on the Gita by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, because it's very nice. It's very nice. It says, by one portion alone, by the Purusha avatar Paramatma, fixing myself in the world which I have created, supporting this created world by being its basis, superintending the world by being its ruler, controlling the world by being its controller, pervading the world by being pervasive, and creating the world by being its cause, I am situated in this world. Everything in this universe is Kṛṣṇa alone, and he is thus worthy of service. So by intelligence given by that realization, one should taste his sweetness. So you've heard that that bhajan. What's the bhajan that talks about Krishna's sweetness? Yes, it's so beautiful. I mean, I have the tune in my head, but whenever I try to sing it, it just doesn't come out the way I hear it. But it's a very beautiful. So this was written by Srimad Vallabhacharya. So it's saying, Srimad Vallabhacharya said, Krishna is the sweetest honey we could ever taste, the sweetest laddu we could ever enjoy, and the sweetest icing on the cake we've ever craved for. In short, he is sweetness personified, that we sometimes become selfish not to share him with others. Sri Vallabhacharya thus describes in this unique stotra the sweetness of Lord Krishna. So we cannot know everything about Krishna, but hearing about his different qualities and his activities regularly will move us towards developing unalloyed love for the Supreme Person of Godhead. That is the ultimate goal of all our sacrifices, our penances, our practice in this process, which was brought to us by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. So I wanted to just share also about hearing. So, so we know the pastime of Rukmini. She had never seen Krishna, and I'm sure she hadn't been wandering around anywhere, because women during that time, they strictly stayed inside the palace, and when they went out, they were carried on palanquins, and they had their maidservants with them. So it's not that, she went somewhere or she met Krishna. She just heard about Krishna. And she wanted Krishna to come and take her. She felt like he was the only one, So in her letter, she heard about it, and she told him that her heart, her heart was captivated by his glorious beauty. She's been hearing about how beautiful he was. And she was recognizing Krishna's supreme status in her letter to him. She was acknowledging his divine nature and his ability to grant her desires, reinforcing her devotion and faith in him. And these desires were transcendental desires. They weren't mundane desires. So she had faith in his power to bring her happiness. And she was expressing her intense longing for him. And we also should be longing to go back home, to go back to Krishna. I wanted to share something a little personal. My Guru Maharaj, when he was leaving his body, for me, I cannot look at the videos on YouTube that show him crying, because I couldn't understand it. I couldn't understand it, And so just recently, maybe about a week ago, someone also sent me, it was a video, and it was a compilation of Govinda Maharaj on one section speaking about, if we don't cry for Krishna, if we don't desire Krishna, if we don't cry, now how are we going to get it? How are we going to get Krishna? And then after he finished talking, they interspersed with another film, another video of my Guru Maharaj crying in front of Sri Sri Radha Damodar. And then I began to understand that this was his emotions coming out in front of his lords, Sri Shivada Damodar. It was his ecstasy and his realizations that were happening were the reason for his crying. And then the video went back to continue with Guru Govinda Maharaj speaking about how we need to be really desperate to be reunited with the Lord. And unless we have the emotions of really crying and being sorry to be away from him, then how are we gonna, go back home, back to Godhead? How are we gonna do that? And Prabhupada's always talking about our eyes need to be anointed with the salve of love for the Lord. Because in the end, that's what it's all about. That's what we're practicing for, our sadhana, is to come to the stage of developing love for Krishna and not for anything else, no other motivation, but just to be with him again in our natural servitor position. So in the spiritual world, there must be a vacancy of our positions because we're all here. So Krishna is feeling our vacancy. That's why he gives us so much to try to come back to him. And he wants us back more than we want to go back. We've been just traversing this world for such a long time. So another personality was Prahlad Maharaj, because when I read the pastimes of Prahlad Maharaj and all the things he went through, which were, done by his father, I'm like, how would I react in such situations? I'm not even there. Because he was in his mother's womb. Hiranyakasipu had gone away to do some austerities, and his wife, Kayadu, had been captured by the demigods. And they didn't want to harm her, but they wanted to kill the child within the womb because they thought another demon was being born. But then Narada interfered and told them, no, there's a devotee in her womb. So don't do that. So Narada took her to his ashram. And he was speaking to her about, he was teaching to the mother, Kayadu. He heard all that was said. Oh, this is Prahlad. So as he was speaking and teaching Kayadu, Prahlad Maharaj was in the womb. And he heard all that was said regarding the omnipotent Lord. Narada had emphasized recognizing the Lord in everything around us. And then I thought about, so this is the reason that Prahlad Maharaj, when his father asked him, is he in this pillar? And Prahlad said, what? Yes, he's in the pillar. We have to see him everywhere. He's everywhere. So Prahlad said, yes, he's in the pillar. And so he was teaching the principles of the self. He was teaching ahimsa. He was teaching universal love. He was teaching kindness and selfless service. He had spoken about the visible world, the unseen elements, the five senses, and the world beyond our senses. So Prahlad was hearing. He heard all of it. So he was a devotee. He became a devotee before he was born. So he was able to tolerate and still be loving and kind to his father and still want the best for his father, even after he was killed by Nrsimhadev. He wanted Nrsimhadev to please, have mercy on my father. So, at least for me, I see how far I have to go. And really actually loving the Lord without any motivation and able to tolerate whatever the Lord sends my way, whether I think it's bad or good, but it's all good if it's done by the Lord. So I'm going to end here and I'll open up for questions or comments or suggestions or whatever anyone wants to share. And I always say that this is a discussion amongst devotees. We come together because we all want to talk about Krishna. And I'm the one speaking up here, but everyone, all of you, you know all of this, all these pastimes, you have this knowledge that's been given to you. So you can just share, or you can, add something, comment, ask a question. So anyone has anything? No reflections on what was spoken, so I can see if I need to improve myself, what I'm presenting.
Mataji, it was very nice class. We have learned many things now in this class. Like you said about Prahlad Maharaj, how he was tolerating everything.
Yeah.
You told about this, but he did not he did not blame to his father.
Yes.
He was tolerating because of the Lord.
Yes.
Very nice.
Thank you. Thank you. Anyone else? Yes.
About crying for Krishna, about crying for Krishna. So that doesn't come naturally. Because I guess now we cry for other things. Somebody said something happened to me, and we cry. I didn't get this. This happened. So is that why we can't cry for Krishna? Because we're crying.
Yes. So it's speaking about our position and how we need to really try to connect with Krishna through our chanting attentively. And we know that we have difficulties with the mind. At least I know I have difficulty with mine. I have to make myself focus. This is the time for Krishna. I'm speaking with Krishna, and Krishna is present. If I can just focus on the holy name. And I think if I was able to chant one pure round, I would be far more advanced by now. So, but still we don't give up. We say that the cure for inattentive chanting is more chanting. We can't give it up. We cannot give it up. We have to chant no matter what. Maybe there'll be times that are dry. That's why there are so many workshops, japa workshops. All the senior devotees mostly are giving workshops for us to help us. Because if we look at all of them, just see how Prabhupada gave them so much. He gave them so much that they were able to do what they've done, to go to a place where there's no temple, to build temples, to make devotees. Prabhupada gave them that empowerment just by his love and attention. And that means that if we chant in such a way, and if we take advantage of senior devotees, we can advance in that way as well. Hare Krishna. Yes, Prabhu.
If you don't mind, I want to add something in this. Mataji, you said, we are not crying for Krishna, we are crying for others. So I wanted to add something in this.
Yes.
Because we are not crying for Krishna because we have contamination. Like we are crying for anything like this is mine, this is mine.
Yes.
But we are not thinking Krishna is mine.
Yes.
We are thinking this is mine, that is mine.
Yes.
That's why we are crying.
Yes.
Or no.
Thank you. It's
If
true.
Krishna is mine, then we will say to Krishna, please be like.
And sometimes we're crying because Krishna did this. This was caused by Krishna. He didn't give me this. He didn't give me. We're like, Krishna, why me? Why do you do this to me? And he's like, I have my dear child. I have Best wishes for you. Whatever he does is good. In the battlefield of Kurukshetra, all those soldiers, even the ones who were enemies, they all went back to Vaikuntha because they were in Krishna's presence. So yes, we do. We cry for everything outside of Krishna, but we shouldn't get discouraged. We should just keep trying, because if you don't try, then you've lost. Krishna understands our weakness. He understands our conditioning, but he loves us the same. He loves all of us the same. So we just have to keep trying. And Krishna sees that. He sees it and he appreciates it. Because one of his qualities, in fact, I think I brought this little book. One of his qualities is, let me find it. I keep this with me, his 64 qualities. He is grateful. Now for me, I'm thinking, Krishna, he's the Supreme Person of Godhead. Why is he grateful? But he's grateful when we do something. Oh, here it is. It's number 17. Can I read it? Rupa Goswami says, any person who is conscious of his friends' beneficent activities and he never forgets his service is called grateful. So Krishna never forgets one thing that you have done for him. We know in the Upanishad, I think it's the last one, when we're leaving this body, we should just pray, Krishna, please remember all that I have done for you. So let me finish reading this. Krishna was grateful to Draupadi because she cried, "Hey, Govinda," in a helpless condition. Krishna remarked, "Draupadi's call for me has made me indebted to her, and this feeling is gradually increasing in my heart." When one surrenders to Krishna and dedicates his life to serving him, Krishna feels extremely grateful. At the time of death, Krishna remembers his devotee and shows his gratitude by taking him back home, back to Godhead. Krishna never forgets any service rendered by a devotee, whether it is a grandiose temple built for Krishna's worship or the mere chanting of one holy name, Narayana. The Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, is also simply an address to the Lord and his energy. So to anyone who is constantly engaged in addressing the Lord and his energy, we can imagine how much the Supreme Lord is obliged. It is impossible for the Lord to ever forget such a devotee. It is clearly stated in this verse that anyone who addresses the Lord immediately attracts the attention of the Lord, who always remains obliged to him. As Krishna remains always grateful to his servants, a devotee should always feel grateful toward the Supreme Lord and the various well-wishers, gurus, and guides who have helped him along the spiritual path. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains the extent of a devotee's gratitude. Even if a devotee serves Krishna for 1,000 universal creations, he cannot repay the debt he feels to Krishna for having received the opportunity to serve the Lord's lotus feet. So we can see whatever we offer, whether it's one holy name or we build a temple, Krishna is grateful. He's grateful. Yes?
In the daṇḍaḥ, you read so many places, so many stories that some devotee, some story, they even see Krishna face to face, but then they have to take another birth till they become, so what to speak of us. But I was thinking, and even that sloka, Krita Punya Punja, it says, all those boys playing with Krishna, they've done, I don't know, how many
1,000 years of pious activities, unlimited to even
now
be.
they get to play with Krishna.
Yes.
So how much more we'll have to do. But then I was thinking, Prabhupada said that he can take you back to Godhead in one lifetime if we sincerely do what he says, and then he also said that he has the back door key.
Oh, I was just thinking about that. He says, yeah, he said, I have, just hold on to my dhoti. I have the back door key.
In one lifetime, if
We can.
even though we can't cry for Krishna or do anything, we
Yeah.
feel sincerely. Only Prabhupada can do this, Lord Chaitanya.
Yes.
We are very fortunate.
Thank you. We're so fortunate. We just have to remember that we're so fortunate.
Otherwise, thousands of lifetimes we just
Yes. Thank you for your input. Anyone else?
Without experiencing any difficulty or trouble in life, no one actually feels separation from the Supreme Lord, Krishna. Like in the Mahabharata, Draupadi, while experiencing trouble from the Kauravas, she calls Krishna. And in many examples, we see.
Yes. But you see, she thought she could do it on her own first, before she finally surrendered. I mean, she had 5 husbands, and not one of them could help her. There was Bhishma. He couldn't do anything. Nobody could do anything, and she kept asking, And until she let go of trying to do it herself, until she actually surrendered and said, I can't do it. Because we think we can do it. I can do it. So she had to surrender and stop holding on to her sorry and put both hands up. That's finally surrendering to the Lord. Because when you think about it, that was a very difficult position, that you were going to be disrobed in the court. So to actually finally say, okay, I'm done. I can't do it myself. We have to have that kind of faith that Krishna is there to help.
Elephant Gajendra also, while he was in water, Gajendra.
Yes. Yes. So that's why Srila Prabhupada gave us the jñāna-vatām. So we can see examples and, read about all these great personalities and the difficulties that they went through and how they finally just surrendered to the Lord. Thank you. Any others? Okay, I think I went over time. Did I? Okay, Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.